pleasure to introduce today's presenter, François Billet. François is the product line manager for the core wire-to-board product portfolio within FCI Basics, and he is based in France. Today, François will take us through an in-depth overview of industrial PLCs in factory and building automation applications. Thank you very much, François, for joining us today.
Thank you, Manuela. Hello, everyone. So, as mentioned by Manuela, I'm François, product line manager for 4 years at Amphenol FCI Basics, and I will be your host throughout this webinar, and during which we will present you the BU selected solutions for PLC application. So this is the first part of a new series made by our business unit that we will launch throughout 2026. So each of these webinars will be dedicated to a specific target application and will follow a similar structure. So we therefore hope that you will attend the following sessions whenever relevant to you. At the end of the session, we hope that you better understand our approach and the end goal of these tools. As usual, please feel free to share your questions, remarks, feedback after this webinar so that we can improve your experience and upgrade the content that we can provide. It is always valuable to hear from you. And in parallel, your local sales team remains available to share extra technical or commercial information to make your project successful whenever possible. So the webinar's agenda is listed as follows. I will just give you a quick overview of the corporate structure at Amphenol so that you can better understand the position of FCI Basics business unit within our organization and its added values. Then we will go straight into the topic of PLC, starting with the definition of what a PLC is. Do we understand the same term? And what is the main, components of a PLC? The overall architectures and features will be presented to better understand the structure of the application, its key components and their respective roles. The trends within the industry, that is to say, the recent developments that we have experienced in the past, and expected future requisites, and last, the impact of these trends on the typical connector requirements and on how they reflect on the product offering. In a third part, we'll see together how Amphenol Basics existing and upcoming products fit into each usage of PLC in terms of design, features, and benefits. The next session will highlight some short success stories that illustrate what kind of support we are able to bring to you in light of recent successful PLC projects. The following part of the webinar goes through an overview of both standard and application-related product lines, along with a quick introduction of special connectors we released recently, so do not miss anything. And the final section will give you a glimpse of what content and marketing collaterals you'll be able to access in the near future related to this webinar and the PLC application. So Amphenol Corporation is one of the leaders in the interconnect industries, with over 25 billion revenues in 2025, coming close to a worldwide leadership. 140,000 employees are spread across the globe in more than 70 countries, with a large span of manufacturing sites across the globe. The organization is led by Mr. Adam Norwitt and is split into 3 divisions, each of them containing several groups. The products we will show in this webinar belong to the ACS division, and more specifically to the Amphenol Commercial Product Groups, ACPG. Basics is a specialist of signal port-to-board and wire-to-board PCB connections, ranging from small miniature pitch to standard ones across 5 technological portfolios. As you can see, our range of applications is quite large, ranging from automotive, industrial, IT datacom and consumer, but always with a focus on added value and customer-centric offer. From our organizational point of view, our strength lies in the global footprint, including manufacturing site within Europe and engineering resources across 3 different countries in order to guarantee strong collaboration with our customers and partners, wherever they are. Our objective is to expand beyond our role of component provider and serve you as a solution provider instead. That's why we want to collaborate with you with application-specific solutions that directly support the evolving needs of customers on the market. Here is the manufacturing footprint of the business units spread across Africa, Asia, and also Europe. So thanks to this localization, we are able to serve customers with close local support thanks to our technical and manufacturing resources, and because we believe this is the way to ensure that your projects are served in the most appropriate and diligent manner. This footprint is also flexible, with not only manufacturing sites, but also in additional services. We are talking about the manufacturing of finished goods, but also some added value services such as cable assemblies or engineering support, or let's say design and testing reviews. In terms of engineering support, our local teams are trained to provide technical guidance and recommendations with regards to your day-to-day challenges. This starts from engineering drawings, 3D concepts and sampling, along with much more complex deliverables such as test simulations with regards to mechanical, thermal, mold flow or signality, integrity behaviors, and on-site qualifications. We will now start with an introduction to today's topic, Programmable Logic Controller or PLC. So to summarize, a quick definition would be as follows. The PLC can be described as a ruggedized computer designed to operate in often harsh industrial settings and environments to manage and automate the process in factories or production lines. As you can see on the diagram, PLCs are part of a large automated ecosystem where they stand among control units. All these machines are designed to cooperate with each other to measure, control, supervise, and coordinate the production flow. So to sum up, we can describe the PLC as some sort of automated brain within the factory. Applications are quite large, ranging from medical to utilities, with water treatment, power stations, for instance. But the most common example lies in manufacturing lines. This is the common use case. However, whatever the application, there are several common components which can be found in most of the PLCs. We have CPU computer module, which can be seen as the brain of the PLC, the interface module, the communication module, the power supply module, the PLC rack, and the I/O module. All the modules that we listed previously reflect some generic building principles that we are going to see in a moment. First principle, PLCs are usually chassis-based, which means they are connected to different modules over backplane connectors, for instance, DIN rail, and this allows a common interface in a standardized format. Second principle, thanks to this chassis-based configuration, additional modules can be added or removed to offer flexibility. As we will see in the dedicated focus slide, this modularity can be achieved with various board-to-board and wire-to-board interconnect solutions. Third principle, PLCs tend towards more and more integrated solutions with a growing number of features within a reduced space. For example, it is common to see detailed human-machine interface on the centralized module, along with several other features similar to what an industrial PC could offer, for instance. On top of that, customers ask for more and more integrated solutions with open software platforms, for instance. To summarize, modularity becomes key. This is one of the key building principles. In Basics webinar series, we want also to describe what the market trends are, and this, by doing so, we hope it will help you better understand and anticipate the requirements in the future. And these trends also impact the design of our connector solutions. So among the trends in the PLC market, we can list the following. There is a growing demand for compact size, faster processing time. That means that PLCs now, they need to be smaller and process an even greater number of tasks within a reduced time frame. At the same time, higher cybersecurity standards are prevalent and need to be integrated within the PLC features to protect the installation against any external threat. We also see a lot of open source and cloud-based programming platforms, meaning that PLCs should now be able to communicate and evolve over time thanks to external resources if required. We also see more and more greater data management and AI features. Like for any machine, artificial intelligence can offer deep learning and self-improvement processes, but this requires for sure more power capabilities. You see also a growing number of functionalities, meaning that new sensors and actuators or IoT devices are added to the mix, and this increases the range of control and the type of information that can be processed by the PLC. And the last trend is that we have a more and more decentralized control architectures. PLCs should not rely only on over centralized supervision units, but they should also be able to correct and take corrective actions, so to say, on their own to address issues and improve the system's performances. To sum up, what it means for our connectors is that the interconnect solutions must be increasingly compact to fit into smaller environments, for instance with miniaturized pitches. The interconnect solutions need to be safe and reliable, with fail-safe features, secure latching system, and top in class with regards to data and signal performances, because PLCs are now becoming more and more efficient and adding more and more features. On this slide, we can see the overall breakdown of a, let's say, standard PLC system, with a schematic on the left showing the main unit used in combination with additional modules. As mentioned earlier, if we list the components, we usually have the CPU computer module, which is the brain of the PLC. We can talk about the I/O module, which can be seen as a translator, the communication module, which can be described as a bridge between the different modules, the power supply module, the plug, and the PLC rack, which can be seen as the backbone. Now, if we look at the external overview, we can see that each module comes with a specific requirements in terms of connectivity along with common components. Here you can see some of the typical basics connectors that you can come across in PLC environment from an external point of view. We have connectors on the display connectivity with FFC FPC, the display interface with HDMI connectors, the communication ports with the USB-C, RJ45, the programming ports with the SD micro SD type of connectors. We have also the internal connections that we will see in more details later on, and the rack connections with Metro and backplane. From an internal point of view, if we remove the cover, so to say, the list gets bigger, since you can find signal wire to board, ribbon cable to board, pin on socket, mezzanine connectors, hybrid connectors, power connectors, FFC to board, and I/O. Considering the application, all these internal components are expected to show modularity to meet always higher speeds and signal density. Nevertheless, these proven solutions must be competitive and reliable in the long run. Because of the growing processing power, more and more modules can be added to the system, meaning that modularity becomes a critical factor. From a market perspective, we can see that PLC market has fast growing because it favors standard, proven connector technology with state-of-the-art interconnect. The growth can also be explained with a number of related modules added over time and the increasing number of features centralized into the CPU modules. Market players are diverse, and we can see small and mid-sized OEMs leading with new automation development, and we can expect to address these needs through our distribution partner, and this is why the connectors that we will show you today are standard items on stock, available on stock and distribution. This makes designing even more simple. This section of the webinar will show you in details the type of connectors to promote at each segment of the application, their features and benefits, along with the high runner series for more convenience. By high runners, we mean that these are items that require no tooling and have proven design over time. If we come back to the PLC overview, the CPU module is where the product offering from Amphenol Basics is the largest. For display connectivity, we can consider FFC FPC series with a low profile design and high pin counts. For board-to-board configuration, we recommend Backstack 0.5, 0.8, which can achieve high data transfer performances. Interconnect solutions is where our wire-to-board MediaTek 2.0 truly shines, since it offers up to 38% space saving compared to standard 2.54 inch. This flexible range can be included in architecture where space constraints are important, and in parallel, you can consider our bulk-state pin headers and two-box receptacles sockets for their modularity and versatility when standard pitch can be accepted. And last but not least, our SD connectors located at the programming ports are vibration and shock-proof to ensure long-term durability. So next, we will show the connectors to use between modules themselves, especially at the interface modules, which serves as the bridge from controller to on-field devices. Several designs can be used between I/O and CPU modules, depending on the architecture. We have first MediaTek microspeed board-to-board as one of our flagship components, capable of withstanding vibrations thanks to dual beam contact design. The EMI shielding offers reduced coupling inductance, and with 25 gigabytes per second, this series is compatible with high-end computing transfers, whereas it will guarantee optimal performances. Our battery connectors and universal contacts are also robust alternatives to reach a high number of mating cycles, along with robust current rating. If needed, you can also consider our USB cable assemblies for quick and easy connections. These application webinars that we are showing today are also a good way to highlight some key aspects of an application and go into more details on the specific use cases. In this example, we want to illustrate the module interconnection via microspeed solutions and battery connectors. So on the first configuration on the right-hand side, it revolves around sliding the base unit onto the DIN rail to connect the modules on the top end. This is the microspeed solution. By doing so, the modules are safely interconnected with a robust interface from left to right or right to left. Similarly, the second configuration shows how PLC modules can be interconnected from the front side thanks to spring and battery connectors instead of sliding. This configuration is helpful when the constraints within the cabinet are too high and there is a limited space. As we have seen, any expansion module, like communication module, can be connected to the system via two different types of connectors. On top of that, it is crucial to offer reliable interconnect solutions to support the central role of the communication module in the PLC architecture with the transfer of data. For this purpose, modular jack, RJ45 and USB Type-C interfaces are the most popular connectors. On this slide, you can find all popular product series in these categories. Main features are space-saving design, along with high-performance specs for optimal user experience. The final stage of our teardown concerns the backbone of the PLC structure, which is the rack connectivity. Among our rack connectors, you can find two main series. Millipack's 2mm, whose two-link contact can withstand vibration environment and be adjusted in backplane, coplanar, or mezzanine configuration. Metrol, with shielded structure for improved signal performances. It also features a stackable design, which allows blind mating compatibility so that you can design high-density configuration. As solution provider, we plan on expanding and improving our range of connectors to further support our PLC customers with innovative NPI. So on this slide, you can see a summary of the recent product launches from 2025-22 and planned for 2026, along with a small introduction with regards to their purposes, problem-solving features, and benefits. Among these, we can highlight the following. First, we have the Metrol cable connector, which is a cable-to-board solution complying with IEC 61076 and optional shielding. Its stackability and light shift feature will ensure positive locking. Second, with Densimate 125, wire-to-board is designed to offer reliable and secure retention in small pitch configuration, thanks to a U-shaped groove for better positioning and pin protection. This series also features specific cavities for stabilized terminals and dual contact for secure connection. Third, our next generation of board-to-board connectors will feature also dual pin contact and upgraded design to prevent misalignment of a plus or minus 0.1 mm, and will also support PCIe Gen 4. The 0.8 pitch will remain, thus making this solution a very compact connection. Finally, the power connector DIN will be offered on the power and hybrid version, able to reach up to 10 amps with 48 contacts. This new solution can be used in board mount for rack configuration or spring-to-wire for wire applications. In Amphenol Basics webinar series, you will also find a short list of success stories relating to the main success factors that contributed to past year's successes, with an exclusive focus on PLC projects. Please feel free to read them through, as they can be a source of valuable information, tips, and best practices that might come handy during your project. For instance, in the first case, the key element that comes to our attention is the explicit need from the customer to design in the most reliable component, meaning that all prior experiences with other industries convinced the customer that to test and evaluate our SFE series. And thanks to the long-term performances, the customer decided to select this solution across the whole platform. The second case relates a space constraint expressed by the customer on top of challenging temperature ranges with high variations. So to satisfy their needs, we decided to promote Minitech 2.0 wire-to-board with reinforced contact to ensure longevity despite high number of mating cycles. The housing material was also upgraded to face larger temperature gaps without any compromise on quality. The final success stories refers and highlights the engineering support that we can deliver to support our customers. In this case, Amphenol FCI Basics had to carry out and share patent analysis within 4 weeks to meet customers' deadline. So thanks to our strong partnerships with Signal Integrity Laboratories, our engineering team was able to prove that our concept could meet the higher high-speed requirements from the customer, up to 16 gigabytes per second. To achieve this, the engineering team also worked on a new shielded design to release and tooled it. The following slides of the webinar include the product line overviews. For each of these products, a link to the dedicated web pages will be included so that you can review in details the technical information of part number, features, and benefits. Starting with board-to-board solutions, usually used in small board-to-board distance with high number of contact points, up to 120 for instance. This range offers technical features such as locking, self-alignment, high-speed communication, 16 gigabytes per second, up to 25 on microspeed. We are also able to support flex cables solutions from wide range ranging from 0.4 to 2 mm each. The FFC, FBC solutions in 0.5 mm pitch are described here. This is the product overview where you can find the main products series available, and we have the same slide for the 1 mm pitch variant. So please feel free to access our web pages and product presentations for more details. The I/O portfolio is covering RJ, USB type, USB cables. So do not hesitate to reach out to your sales contact person if you need any cable assembly, for instance. DIN backplane portfolio is our main solution provider for the rack connectors. Our factory in Cochin, India is striving to achieve higher standards and promote this solution in many applications. Core wire-to-board portfolio is primarily designed for industrial, consumer, and IT datacom applications, whether in wire-to-board, but also board-to-board connection. This range includes proven brand names such as Minitech, Bugstick, and Quickie, and is split by pitch. So the first question to consider when browsing our offer is to consider the initial pitch. Here's an overview of the different series we can offer, along with the latest NPIs. Finally, e-mobility range wire-to-board is one of our flagship portfolios, which is more and more involved in factory automation with the growing number of robots and cobots that operate alongside the automated line. So please feel free to reach out to our technical team if high vibration requirements are to be considered. There might already be an existing solution for you. The webinar also introduced most specific solutions that have been offered over recent projects, even though they are not, let's say, these are customer-specific requests originally. There is a high chance that you can come across similar requirements during your projects and exploration phase. So please feel free to reach out to Amphenol team if you want more information or a dedicated training. Some examples with the Rotor Connect with its hermaphroditic design, the Rotor Sense temperature sensors and its 90-degree features, and finally the leak detection cable, which is becoming more and more popular even outside of IT datacom application. Very important reminder on this slide, which reminds the different tools that you can already access freely on ACS website. This includes 2D drawing, 3D models, data sheets, application sheets, specs and information, ROHS reports, for instance, and product overview. But if you need any specific information, our web chat managed by our tech support team is available 6 days a week to answer your questions and find the information you need. As a backup, the product management team is also there to guide you and answer your questions. For the last slide of this webinar, I would like to mention that what additional content you can expect from Amphenol Basics BU in the near future to support you further. First, I invite you to stay tuned for the release of upcoming NPIs. So each of the new products that we release comes with a dedicated 30-minute webinar like this one, along with a sample box, cross-reference database if relevant, and stock package at distribution. Later, we will share with you an application video describing the products that we have covered in this webinar in a short and dynamic manner, an application overview, which will be also provided to share as a quick summary. Also, please be on the lookout for the white paper, which will be published. These can be seen as a deep dive discussion to explore the trends of the market and the related challenges in the interconnect industry with regards to PLC market. Also, we have now a program called Preferred Parts, now sorted per application. This is a selection of high runners that are already available at our distribution partners with extra service levels such as short lead time, low MOQs, and quick sampling via our website. As usual, we also plan to do some promotion on social media if you prefer. And last but not least, our sales team and business development team will come to you and answer your questions if need be. So here is the end of this webinar. On behalf of Amphenol FCI Basics, we hope that you have found useful information and understood our approach throughout this session. And hopefully it will give you more interest in exploring the PLC market with us. So I thank you very much for your attention and remain available if you have any questions.
Thank you, Francois, for the excellent presentation. Let's now move on the Q&A portion of today's session. As a reminder, please submit your questions using the chat function on the right-hand side of your webinar panel. I'll be monitoring incoming questions throughout the discussion. I do have a few questions that were submitted ahead of time. Question number 1. What are the main factors to consider when selecting a signal interconnect solution for PLC applications?
To me, let's say there would be 3 factors. First one is reliability over time. Basically, we know that the PLCs need to operate in demanding environments with high stakes. So if there is any issue or drop in the production line, there is high consequences. So that's for this reason, that's why the connectors that will end up on the bill of material, they need to be reliable and industry proven. That's the first factor. The second one to me would be electrical and signal performances, because they are the key to have a successful interconnect solutions. Because the specs are always increasing, connectors, they need to follow the same trend to match the growing expectations. So that's why signal integrity, signal performances, electrical performances need to, let's say, be on top. And the third constraints I would say would be spacing, to make sure that everything can be achieved within reduced dimensions. That would be the third element.
Question number 2 is, what connector challenges do customers most often face when scaling modular PLC systems?
So the main challenges with regards to connectors is all about balancing between standardized solutions and customized ones. For sure, let's say modularity is where we need to provide biggest added value, but because each customer faces their own constraints that need to be considered, and it means that all connectors should be able to be adjusted according to these constraints. Let's say, for instance, we have specific pin headers that should reach a specific distance. For sure, we can adjust and we can release a specific plating configuration, for instance. But the downside of this approach will, of course, be reflected in the tooling expenses or the lead time of deployment, which is not the case for standardized solutions. So that's why in this webinar we presented standard solutions first.
Our question number 3. Can you recap the differences between microspeed and universal contact system?
Sure.
Systems?
Yeah. In this case, they are quite similar because they serve the same purpose of connecting the modules with one another. But the main difference between the two series, it lies in the EMI shielding and high-speed performances for the microspeed. And on the other hand, microspeed is more designed for type of slide-in connection rather than spring connection from the top.
Question number 4. Which PLC trends are having the biggest impact on connector selection today?
The biggest factors to me, I would say, compact size and faster processing time for the increased number of functionalities. These are the biggest drivers in the industry. Of course, with the emergence of embedded AI, for instance, we'll also see, I think soon, big data management system to become more prevalent in the future.
Thank you again, Francois, for a fantastic presentation on industrial PLCs. The presentation and supporting materials will be shared with you shortly, so keep an eye out for those. Thank you all for joining us today, and have a great day.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.